Finally, we don't need to listen to Amber Cox speculate about her health. We don't need to listen to Stephanie White speculate about her health. Straight from the horse's mouth herself, Caitlin Clark reveals she is 100% healthy, good to go, ready to go, back in action.
We don't need to listen to sports commentators speculate about her health. Straight from Caitlin Clark herself, she is 100% healthy, good to go, and ready to dominate. And she just proved it in the most unexpected arena possible. While the WNBA spent the offseason debating how much credit Caitlin Clark deserves, another league rolled out the red carpet, turned on every camera, and handed her the spotlight without hesitation. The LPGA didn't just invite Caitlin Clark to their Annika Pro-Am. They built an entire spectacle around her. 34 million social media impressions, ticket sales multiplied by 12, crowds in Indiana Fever jerseys lining fairways like it was the Final Four. And here's the part that should terrify the WNBA. She's not even a professional golfer. This isn't just about one viral putt on the 18th hole. Although we'll get to that moment because it's absolutely insane. This is about exposure, not the kind where Caitlin exposes anyone. The kind where the LPGA's treatment of Caitlin Clark exposes exactly what the WNBA refuses to do: celebrate their biggest star without resentment. If you believe the real story is how leagues treat greatness, hit that like button. It tells us you see what's actually happening here. Let's be clear about what went down at Pelican Golf Club. Caitlin Clark walked into the Annika driven by Gainbridge Pro-Am looking like she belonged there. Full Nike outfit, proper shoes, her own clubs, no rental set, no casual appearance. This wasn't a basketball player messing around for charity. The moment she stepped onto that practice range, the cameras didn't look away. Whatever Caitlin Clark puts her mind to, she can accomplish, at least when it comes to two things: golf and basketball. She's a natural athlete, and the Annika Pro-Am gave the world front row seats to watch her work.
Well, Caitlin Clark is back golfing. She is back golfing for the first time in I don't know how long, but she's golfing. She's yeah, that's a positive thing. It's the Annika tournament, which she played in last year, but this year is a little bit different. So let's take a look at all the clips from this so far. Jesus, it's pretty packed with her just on the practice range. Better swing than mine anyway.
The footage started flooding in immediately. Caitlin on the practice range, with crowds packed around her. Not polite golf clapping, real energy. The kind of buzz you get when 15,000 people show up to watch someone who technically shouldn't even be the main attraction. But she was. From the first swing, the packed practice range, the buzz from fans who drove from multiple states just to see her, and then the tournament itself. The LPGA didn't bury her appearance on a back nine pairing at dawn. They put her with golf royalty, world number one Nelly Korda, 10-time major champion Annika Sorenstam herself. They gave her prime coverage, national broadcast time, and complete access to tell her story. Many of you have been saying for weeks that Caitlin gets more respect outside the WNBA than inside it. You were onto something. Because while the WNBA hides her post-game press conferences behind low traffic clips and questions whether she deserves the attention, the LPGA commissioner called her a once-in-a-generation, crossover star who brings incredible energy wherever she goes. That's not spin. That's the difference between a league that understands cultural momentum and a league that resents it. Here's what the numbers actually mean. Last year, Caitlin's appearance at this same event already moved the needle. This year, pure madness. Pelican Golf Club's chief operating officer said this became one of the most talked about women's golf tournaments ever, not because of the competition, because of her. 34 million social media impressions in a single week, ticket sales didn't just increase. They multiplied 12 times over. Fans showed up in fever jerseys chanting Caitlin's name on a golf course. Think about that. A basketball player generated more fan energy at a golf tournament than most LPGA events see during Championship Sunday. And the LPGA didn't panic. They didn't worry about other players feeling overshadowed. They didn't tell Caitlin to tone it down or share credit. They leaned in, hard. They built campaigns around her. They promoted her in every highlight reel. They let her be the headline without apology. Reading between the lines reveals something fascinating. When Annika Sorenstam gave her statement about inviting Caitlin back, she said Caitlin added such a great dynamic to our event, and her passion for golf and competitiveness were fun to witness firsthand. That's celebration, not tolerance, not begrudging acknowledgement, genuine appreciation for what she brought to their sport. Nellie Korda described playing with Caitlin like playing with a friend. Relaxed, confident, just really enjoying herself. Annika added that Caitlin is super mature for 22, and handles herself so well, and says the right things. She brought energy and fun. Compare that to the WNBA, where Caitlin Clark increased attendance by over 300%, boosted national viewership by double digits, became the league's top jersey seller, and still got questioned, targeted, and physically hammered on the court while voices inside the league debated whether the hype was real. The LPGA saw a gift. The WNBA saw a threat. And that contrast is now playing out in the most public way possible. Because while one league struggles with jealousy and control, another league just unlocked the formula that every women's sports organization claims they want: respect, visibility, and value. Caitlin didn't demand special treatment at the Annika Pro-Am. She just showed up and played. But the LPGA understood what that moment represented: a bridge between women's sports and mainstream culture. Someone who could bring millions of new eyes to their game without even being a professional in their sport. So they didn't try to manage her star power, they amplified it. And in doing so, they proved what the WNBA could have done all along if they just let Caitlin be great without the baggage. Let's filter out the noise and focus on what actually happened on that course, because this is where the story shifts from respect and numbers to pure athletic performance, the kind that makes people realize Caitlin Clark isn't lucky. She's legitimately elite at anything competitive she touches. The cameras cut to Caitlin on the 10th hole. Wind conditions were challenging. Commentators were watching her swing. And they weren't making jokes about a basketball player trying golf. They were impressed. One of them said, "This is not someone messing around. This is someone who has been putting in real work." Her swing was smooth, balanced, controlled. She released the club properly, held her finish, and walked after the ball like she'd done this for years. Not months, years. The golf world started paying real attention because casual athletes don't move like that under pressure. By the time she reached the 18th hole, the wind was howling, 14 miles an hour straight in her face out of the northeast. Most celebrity guests would just be happy to get the ball somewhere on the green and walk off. Caitlin stepped up to a long sliding putt with thousands of people watching and cameras everywhere. She lined it up, she read the break, and then she drained it.
Pro-Am, here is Caitlin at the 10th.
Looks like she was able to put into work a little bit of what Jamie was telling her. Release that.
We got Caitlin Clark walking down to the 18th hole. Wind blowing 14 miles an hour out of the northeast. A beautiful sunny day. This putt is unbelievable. Look at this freaking putt. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. Caitlin Clark's got real talent, folks.
This putt is unbelievable. Look at this putt. The crowd erupts. The broadcast booth loses it. This is not a sympathy cheer. This is a real golf moment captured on national television. Caitlin Clark just drained a pressure putt in front of thousands with wind in her face, and she made it look routine. The commentator's reaction says everything. Unbelievable. Caitlin Clark's got real talent. Folks, not basketball talent bleeding into golf. Real golf talent. The kind that makes professional golfers take notice and admit this woman is dangerous in any competitive arena you put her in. She destroys the lazy narrative that she's just a hooper having fun in the off-season. That putt proves she's a legitimate athlete who studies art, practices, and executes under pressure regardless of the sport. And the golf world saw it instantly. If you're connecting the dots on where this story is really going, drop a comment about what the LPGA just taught the WNBA. We read every single one, and your insights always push these conversations deeper. But if Caitlin is the calm, composed center of this story, Sophie Cunningham is absolute chaos. And honestly, it's perfect content. Sophie and Lexi Hall showed up rocking fever gear, acting as Caitlin's hype squad and caddies. The energy was pure fun. And then Sophie decided to take a swing herself. She grabbed a club on the tee and went full Happy Gilmore. Running start, wild swing, absolute mayhem. The ball flies, and a spectator goes down. Then 2 or 3 other guys drop to the grass, all of them playing it up, trying to get a moment or maybe even a hug from Sophie. The internet went crazy. People argued in the comments about whether the fan was really hit or just selling it for attention. Clips of Sophie's swing and the so-called injured spectator were everywhere. It was hilarious. It was chaotic. And it proved something important about the dynamic between these two players. Sophie is pure personality and drama. She creates viral moments through energy and unpredictability. But Caitlin is something different. Caitlin is viral because she's excellent. She doesn't need to be loud or chaotic. She just shows up, performs. And the world watches because they know something special is about to happen. That contrast is why they work so well together. Sophie brings the entertainment. Caitlin brings the substance. And together, they're building a brand that goes way beyond basketball. The LPGA event proved that, because even with Sophie's antics getting millions of views, the story everyone kept coming back to was Caitlin's composure and skill. And then Bryson DeChambeau entered the conversation. After watching Caitlin's performance, after seeing the crowd reaction, after the viral putt blew up across social media, Bryson didn't just compliment her game. He invited her to play in his Internet Invitational in 2026. Now, at first glance, that might sound like just another celebrity golf event with YouTubers and a trophy. It's not. Bryson's Invitational is a content machine that pulls ridiculous numbers. We're talking 2.1 million views in 2 days, 2.8 million views, 3.3 million, 4.4 million, 5.9 million. His channel is a massive platform, and he just offered Caitlin a featured spot. Think about what that means. Bryson DeChambeau, one of the biggest names in professional golf, sees Caitlin Clark as someone who belongs in his world, not as a celebrity guest making an appearance, as someone who can actually compete and create compelling content doing it. He's not offering this invite to other WNBA players. He's not building events around basketball stars in general. He saw Caitlin specifically and said, "I want you in my world." That's recognition from someone who understands what drives attention in modern sports media. Many of you have been saying this for months. Caitlin's appeal goes beyond basketball because she represents something bigger. Competitive excellence combined with authentic personality. Bryson sees it. The LPGA sees it. Golf Channel sees it. ESPN sees it. Mainstream culture sees it. The question is, when will the WNBA finally see it without resentment? Because here's the contrast that's impossible to ignore. While the LPGA built an entire event around Caitlin and promoted her in every piece of content, the WNBA still hides her impact behind carefully worded statements and debates about whether she gets too much attention. While golf legends like Annika Pro-Am and Nelly Korda praised Caitlin publicly and called playing with her an honor, some voices in the WNBA questioned the hype and downplayed her achievements. While the LPGA broadcast her appearance in prime time and let her be the headline, The WNBA often buries her post-game press conferences behind low-traffic clips and acts like promoting their biggest star might upset someone. The numbers don't lie. Caitlin Clark increased WNBA attendance by over 300%. She boosted national television viewership by double digits. She became the league's top jersey seller in her rookie season, and she still makes just $78,000 a year while generating millions in revenue. Instead of celebrating that, too many voices inside the WNBA questioned it. They targeted her physically on the court. They made her prove herself in ways no other rookie had to prove themselves. They turned what should have been a celebration of generational talent into a referendum on whether the attention was deserved. Meanwhile, the LPGA took one look at Caitlin Clark and said, "This is exactly what we need." They understood immediately that she's not competition for their established stars, she's amplification, a rising tide that lifts all boats. Someone who brings millions of new fans to women's sports without taking anything away from the athletes already there. LPGA executives built campaigns around her. Commissioner Molly Marcoux-Samaan called her a once-in-a-generation crossover star. They promoted her in highlight reels. They paired her with the best players in their sport. They made her feel valued every single step of the way. And the results speak for themselves. Sellout crowds, record social media engagement, mainstream coverage that typically ignores women's golf, players like Lilia Vu, Andrea Lee, and Megan Kang rushing to meet Caitlin after their rounds. Not with jealousy, with celebration. That's what true support looks like. And it's exactly what the WNBA could have done if they'd just embraced Caitlin's impact instead of trying to control it. Celebrities noticed too. Tiger Woods praised her impact on sports. LeBron James called her special. Chris Evert said, "The WNBA should appreciate Caitlin for what she is. The best thing that's ever happened to women's basketball." Paige Spiranak went viral after tweeting, "The hate toward Caitlin Clark from some players is disappointing. Women can be vicious while preaching empowerment." The LPGA gets it. They're letting her shine. This is the turning point. While one league struggles with resentment and control, another has unlocked the formula for growth in women's sports: respect, visibility, and value. Caitlin's appearance at the Annika Pro-Am didn't just move tickets. It proved a larger truth that audiences desperately want to see women's sports succeed, but they respond to how those athletes are treated. The LPGA gave Caitlin cameras, prime coverage, and gratitude. The WNBA gave her bruises, backlash, and silence. That's not bitterness talking, that's reality. And the irony is that Caitlin never asks for special treatment. She just keeps showing up. Humble, calm, focused. And the world follows her anyway, because fans don't fall in love with leagues. They fall in love with people. And that's what the LPGA understood instantly. As Caitlin stepped onto those Pelican fairways, surrounded by thousands of cheering fans, she didn't look like someone fighting for validation. She looked like someone who had already won. No drama, no controversy, just respect. It was the perfect visual metaphor for a basketball star outshining professionals in a completely different sport. Not because she demanded it, but because she earned it. The LPGA's red carpet treatment wasn't about politics or publicity stunts. It was about understanding the moment. They knew Caitlin represented the bridge between women's sports and mainstream culture. Every camera flash, every fan chant, every headline proved the same thing. People crave authenticity and excellence. Caitlin Clark has both. Analysts are already calling this crossover moment a marketing masterclass. A win for women's sports that the WNBA could have owned if they'd embraced Caitlin sooner. And maybe that's the real exposure here. Not the difference in pay structures or media rights, the difference in respect. The LPGA didn't try to control Caitlin. They trusted her star power, and it worked. Meanwhile, the WNBA is still trying to manage her spotlight, and in doing so, they're losing it to another sport entirely. So while the LPGA celebrates and basketball fans watch in admiration, we're left asking one painful question. What if the WNBA treated Caitlin Clark the same way? What if they'd rolled out the red carpet instead of the resistance? What if they'd amplified her impact instead of questioning it? Because in one weekend, a golf tournament showed the world what real support looks like. And it reminded everyone that respect will always drive the game forward faster than control ever could. If you want to see how this story continues to unfold and what the WNBA does next, smash that subscribe button and hit notifications. Because Caitlin Clark's offseason is just getting started, and the leagues competing for her attention are about to get very interesting. We'll be covering every development. Next up, we're breaking down the cryptic message the Indiana Fever just sent that has everyone talking about front office changes and what it means for Caitlin's future. Caitlin Clark didn't call anyone out. She didn't demand headlines or throw shade. She simply proved what happens when greatness is appreciated instead of controlled, and that might be the biggest exposure of all.